Welcome to this episode of Top 5 Photo Locations. We are exploring Brisbane and the surrounding areas, and coming up in this episode we are going to be doing a city walk and exploring some of what you can capture in the CBD, and then venturing to the outlying regions and visiting one of Australia's favourite tourism destinations, Tangalooma Island Resort on Moreton Island. All of that coming up in this episode and more. Now we're starting our city adventure by walking through Brisbane, which is the capital of Queensland in Australia. Now this is a city that seems to be growing in vibrancy, life and social life as well. There's so much happening here and it seems to be growing more and more by the day. We're going to start our journey by doing a walking tour around the Roma Street Parklands, and stay tuned for the end of this segment because we are going to be doing a very special surprise that is an absolute treat for photographers. As with most cities across Australia and the world, starting with a city walk to see the hustle and bustle, the life, and capture some street style images is a great way to see the city from a completely different perspective. Now, one of the unique places in Brisbane is here in Roma Street Parklands. This is a 16-acre, well-manicured garden that is perfect for capturing those nature and macro images or unique natural style photography that I know many of you watching this video will probably be quite interested in. It's a beautiful garden with plenty of flowers and so much diversity in the plant life here that you could spend several hours just walking around here and capturing some excellent images of the flowers and the natural elements. We're joining Storybridge Adventure Climb to take the challenge and get the perspective and the view from the top. We're also going to be having a chat with our climb leader, Adam, at the top about why Brisbane is such a special place for him. Also, we've got special permission to take some camera gear and equipment with us. It's going to be harnessed onto us and attached very securely so as to not drop any little bits and pieces onto the traffic below. The view is going to be pretty spectacular, so what we're going to do now is head inside, gear up and get ready to climb.
Alrighty, so before we head up on the bridge, just a few safety rules to keep in mind. We just need to take it one stair at a time, make sure we're using the handrails where possible, and have a great climb.
Now that we're at the top of the bridge, the views are extraordinary. Whether you're coming here with family members or you're up here on a special occasion, you're going to get a fantastic city view. Like, look at that right now for a twilight climb and late afternoon golden hour. It's absolutely beautiful to come and get a few images. What we're going to do is have a quick interview chat with Adam, who's been working here for a couple of years and taking climbers on tours to experience this exceptional sight of Brisbane. Adam, thanks so much for taking us on this awesome experience. We've obviously got the great view behind us. Can you tell us a bit more about the experience and what it's been like for other people to come up and do this with you?
Yeah, so it's about a 2-hour experience, the climb, and you're coming up to 80 meters above sea level, so no doubt you're getting the best 360-degree panoramic view of Brisbane. You can see as far up north to the Glasshouse Mountains, as far south as Mount Lindsay, the New South Wales border. So it's a really fun experience for people outside of Brisbane, discovering the city for the first time, and then also for people that have lived here their whole life and they've never seen Brisbane from this view before. So yeah, it's always a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the photographers watching this, because obviously we're having a chat to the photography market, in your own words, how would you describe this view to someone wanting to come along and potentially be able to get the photo, or at least experience it with their own family or their own friends?
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got so many options to choose from. It's almost like, where do I point the camera first? Like, there's so many beautiful structures, obviously, some really historic ones as well, dating back to the 19th century when Brisbane was first established. You've also got stunning natural landscapes, so I think no matter what you're kind of looking for, you're going to find it right here in the one spot.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And obviously people watching can see what's going on behind us. And from your own personal experience, what do you love about Brisbane so much? Like, we're obviously up here, it's an exceptional view, but personally, what do you feel like this city brings to you?
Yeah, well, I love Brisbane. I've grown up here my whole life, and I used to think Brisbane was a boring city when I was a kid. I used to think, oh, I can't wait to move to Sydney or Melbourne, because they're the stereotypical, exciting hot spots in Australia. But as I've grown up, I've really come to love everything about Brisbane, and I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. I mean, it's got the perfect blend of being just developed enough that there's so many exciting areas. You've got obviously plenty of hotspots in the CBD, but you've got riverside dining and bar at Howard Smith Wharves. You're only a stone throw away from fantastic islands out at Moreton and Stradbroke. You can get straight out to the rainforest, straight up mountains. It's literally got everything within reach, and I'll always love it.
Oh, well, awesome. Thank you very much. We've appreciated you taking us on this climb. Now that the sun is just starting to set, I think it's probably about time we head down, because we're going to be heading over to our next spot in the CBD to actually show you a fantastic view you can get to at pretty much any point in time. And to finish off our day in the Brisbane CBD, and after climbing the Story Bridge that you can see behind me, a lot of photographers will come here to get their shots of the Story Bridge and the skyline. And it's simple, there's a reason for it. It's because the Story Bridge lines up with a perfect background of the towering buildings in the CBD. Now, I'm set up here with a tripod. There is a fence here, so you do need to try and get just that little bit higher above it. There's also a couple of other spots just a tad further down from where we're standing now that you can achieve the iconic shot. And in the colours of the bridge as well, an interesting fact is a lot of charities will apply to the Brisbane Council to try and get their colours represented on the bridge for a specific thing. And most of the time it will be blue or green for the Brisbane Council, but in this case there has been a charity that is why it's blue and yellow. So it is great to be able to see these different scenarios, different environments represented in the story of the city, and it makes for even better images in the final result. So now that we've finished in the Brisbane CBD, we're going to head over to location number 2. Second location for this video is the Redland Bay area on the outskirts of Brisbane. We can see the port from where we're standing here on Wellington Point jetty, and around the Brisbane area there's no shortage of sunrise locations. And Wellington Point, where we are right now, is one of them that is fantastic for capturing the perfect sunrise. And more specifically to where we're standing, the jetty here makes for a great long leading line shot straight into the sunrise, especially when you get a nice colourful sky. Now we're going to explore a couple of locations, but we're starting our journey here in Wellington Point, where we've just captured a, as you can see, somewhat moody sunrise. Now this is also a good sunset location, and facing towards the west you can get some really spectacular sunset shots with brilliant reflections that make for really just simple but clean and lovely images from this location. We're going to be spending a little bit of time exploring Redland Bay, but for the rest of today we're actually going to be filming our fourth location, which is Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary, and then we're going to be finishing back up here at sunset, which is going to be pretty special as we're heading to Cleveland Point Lighthouse. To finish up our day in the Redland Bay area, we are at the old Cleveland Point lighthouse. And personally, I've been able to photograph here a few times and it's fantastic. I really love it for a great sunset, just setting off to my right-hand side here. Now, there is a bit of construction fencing while we're here at the moment, but from one of my past visits, I'm going to bring up a photo of just this beautiful pink sky that you can get while you're here. Now, if you've had enough of photographing for the day, or you're just a little bit tired, then it may be nice to just come down here, sit on the banks of the river, and get some fish and chips from the fish and chip shop and just simply watch the sun go down. This lighthouse was built in 1864 to 1865 and is a hexagonal shape, which makes it quite unique as there's only two left standing in this original shape and exterior. So it's a really great spot, good unique image to get, and a perfect way to end the day. As we continue our journey, we've headed away from the mainland and over to Moreton Island. It's just a short 15-minute drive from the city to the terminal, where the ferry takes about 75 minutes to come across to the beautiful Tangalooma Island resort. This is an absolutely incredible location. It's a tropical paradise just off the coast of Brisbane. There are so many photo opportunities here, and probably the most well-known reason for people coming here are the 15 wrecks sunk just north of us here from the resort, called the Tangalooma wrecks. Now, there are three ways to see the wrecks. First is on a boat or a cruise, second is from the water, snorkeling or diving, and third is from the air, but we're going to get to that shortly. While we're here, you're going to see a few ways to capture the island, and a couple of those are actually tour-based. We're leaving from tours based at Tangalooma Island Resort, where we're going to get a great sense of the island and some of the places we may not have been able to see by ourselves if we were here just with our own four-wheel drive. But first, because we're starting here in the middle of the day, we're going to go sand tobogganing and explore the island a bit. That is a heap of fun to do during the day, although a little bit of sand makes for a bit of extra fun. Now, there's no way you can come to Moreton Island for a photographic experience without coming and checking out the entire island on a helicopter. We're going up with elite helicopters over the island to soar around the wrecks, a little bit of the desert in the back, and this should be an absolutely epic trip. So come along, because this is going to be fantastic.
The view and the experience from up here is simply incredible. Just flying over the top of the island, being able to see the sand dunes and the full scope of the island itself is simply incredible. It's just the best experience to be able to go and do while you're here and be able to get such amazing photographic opportunities. Now, we flew with elite helicopters and we were fortunate that they were able to take the doors off for us to be able to get really clear and crisp imagery, which was just made this so amazing. and really added to the whole experience.
So for a helicopter experience, especially with the doors off, that was incredible. By far the best way to see Moreton Island, and seriously, so many photo opportunities. If you're coming here, 100% you have to do this experience. Often when visiting somewhere new that you don't get to see a lot of the places that you'd expect on your own, and that is why tours are a great option. In our case, we're taking the Southern Safari Tour out of Tangalooma Island Resort. This is going to take us along the eastern beach of the island, as well as to a few really great spots along the way. So let's go check it out.
Be a proper trip around the island without having a quick lunch stop at the Gutter Bar for some really fresh seafood and a quick drink before we move on to our next spot where we're going to grab some great images.
As one of the stops on the Southern Safari Tour, we're at Mirrorpool Lake, which is what you can see behind me. It's an ocean-fed lake that usually fills up with fish, and you get quite a few seabirds around here. We've actually been photographing a bit of the wildlife here, and right behind the camera there is actually an entire flock. They make for fantastic photographs with jet black feathers, bright orange beak set against beautiful white sand here on the tour, and it's made for some great images. So we're going to jump back on the tour bus now and head over to our next stop. So as we've come to our last stop, we are at the Big Sand Hills, and as you can see behind me, this is pretty impressive. It's a decent walk to come up, but seriously, the views from the top and the tree that is just in front of me here, overlooking the entire Moreton Bay, like this is just a spectacular view, and it makes for a really great panoramic photograph. Also, on the trip, you can see the coloured sands, and there's quite a big sand hill of the coloured sands just off to my left. But for now, this is where our tour pretty much comes to an end. We're on our way back to the resort, and then we're going to go and try and capture a few more things while we're here on Moreton Island. Now, while you're here on Moreton Island, doing photography is obviously best at sunrise or sunset. However, if you're looking for something fun to do during the day and create a great experience for the whole family, try the ATV quad bike tour. Although not specifically photography related, it's an awful lot of fun, and it'll create memories with the family that you'll all remember for a long time to come. Truly, if you want a great experience that the whole family will enjoy, you can ride tandem or ride by yourself, and definitely I recommend riding by yourself for the adults. It is a lot of fun, great tracks, really great guides, and an absolute blast for your time here on Moreton Island. One of the great recommended experiences. Now, if you want to see the wrecks, one of the best ways by far is in the water, especially for photographs. Now, as you can see, I'm dressed and ready to go. I've been a long-time diver for probably close to 10 years at this point, and absolutely love it. There's nothing like being in the water to get a truly immersive experience of the place you're visiting. being able to take a camera or just a GoPro, no matter whether you're diving or snorkeling, will give you some of the best perspectives you will get of the wrecks. So let's go dive in. Being in the water is absolutely fantastic. We finished the dive, crazy air as you would expect after getting out of the water, but well worth it for some incredible views. Again, whether you're diving or snorkeling, absolutely worth doing this experience, even just to get GoPro photos. It gives such a different perspective and some great images from your entire trip. What you've seen here is just a taste of what Moreton Island has to offer. If you are looking for the best place to come and stay while you're on the island, definitely check out Tangalooma Island Resort, where we've done a lot of these experiences from. You can find out all the details and more at tangalooma.com. Now, let's head back to the mainland and ready for location number 4. Now that we've made it back to the mainland from Tangalooma, we are at Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary, which is absolutely fantastic fun. It's a great way to just get out of the city a little bit and experience some animals, some wildlife, and get to see a few koalas, kangaroos, as you can see, and really just get out and experience. If you've got kids, this is a great spot to come as well, with all the different shows you can do. Now, it's not too far out of the city, which is fantastic, and you've got a lot of varieties here. They're obviously a koala sanctuary, which is a very important thing to be able to help and rescue koalas and nurse them back to health if they're injured. There's also kangaroos, other farm animals, and a variety of different wildlife that ends up at the sanctuary, which is great to see and especially get a few photographs of in supporting this place. It's been really great to spend a little bit of time here at Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary. It's great to see the research centre and find out that they're actually the first wildlife sanctuary for koalas in the world. They've got so many koalas here, and it's great to see their rescue programs and a great place to support. Now, a place that's actually not too far from here, and our 5th location, is where we're off to next. Welcome to Mount Coot-tha. This is our 5th and final location in the Brisbane area. It's not the biggest location we're featuring in this video, but it definitely has its special moments, especially like the view you can see behind me overlooking the skyline of Brisbane. Now, the best time to come up here to the lookout where we are right now is at sunrise, especially during winter. If you are here on a nice clear day and you're lucky enough to get some great fog roll through, you can see the tops of the buildings with a beautiful sunrise, and it is very, very special. In my opinion, and my personal opinion only, I do believe that this is one of the absolute best spots you could visit for sunrise when you're in the area. Now, we are also going to show you a couple of other spots, and one really special one is the Botanic Gardens. These are beautiful. So now that we've had a quick look at the view here, let's go head over and take a look at the Botanic Gardens. There is something to be said about the natural beauty held within botanic gardens, and the ones here at Mount Coot-tha are beautiful. It's spread over 56 acres with 200,000 plants representing 5,000 species. If you're looking for something to photograph during the day, then this is the absolute ideal place to come and visit. You've got wildlife like frill-neck lizards and a few fake animals planted around the place, like the bats you can see just behind me hanging from the tree, and funny enough, playing instruments. So there is a bit of humor spread throughout here. Now, nature photographers, macro, plant life, basically whatever you want to photograph, it's pretty much here if you're looking for some kind of plant. We've been walking around the Japanese Zen garden, and as you would expect, the Japanese Zen garden is absolute Zen. It's very relaxing and a great way to come and photograph, chill out, or even bring the family along and spend some time here just exploring the natural beauty around you. If there's one quick tip I can offer you, it's to bring a polarizing filter. With so much great greenery and beautiful colors around, reducing the glare and removing that polarized light effect off the plants and flowers and increasing the saturation in your actual photo file is going to help immensely in creating that finessed, beautiful final result. So I would highly recommend picking up a polarizing filter if you don't have one already and you intend to come to a location like this. As you can see, Mount Coot-tha has a lot to offer, and we've scratched the surface on it. Whether you're visiting here with family, friends, or here for photography specifically, there's still more to discover, like the planetarium and a few other places around. But that also brings us to the end of this episode. I hope that you've enjoyed the top 5 photo locations from around the Brisbane area. There is so much diversity here, and we have scratched the surface on it, but there is still so much more to discover.